I have something fun, fast and easy, and it involves cocktails. Alcohol-free ones, that is, and cards. I also have some cards. I'm going to use Dylusion paint, the cocktail colors. These are bright and happy colors that will brighten your day or night because they are really bright. Now these paints are a bit translucent unlike the other colors, and this gives you a fun option because the layers will show. I start with adding a few drops straight on my card, and then I take my card, like an old gift card, and just start spreading the color over the card. And I get some really fun thicker lines of paint, which are so cool that I just leave them as they are. Turning the card while spreading the paint is really helpful to get color all over the background and to get some texture and spread your paint really well. This will take a bit of drying time, but there's no point in messing with pretty, so I put this aside and I'm going to do another one. I add a few drops again and I start pretty carefully moving the plastic card through the drops, and as I'm going I'm making my movements a bit bigger, turning the cardstock and spreading the paint all over it. So I fill the background pretty much like you are used to from me, and this will give you another fun and simple colorful background. But then you have some leftover paint, just scrape it up and add it to another card, and this will give you another pretty background. And oops, I had two cards. Now I will just work with that and I will show you in a bit. Now this is a pretty busy background and it depends a bit on the colors you use and how much you blend them, and it's a matter of taste, but the texture you get this way is quite incredible. One more with the blue and green, which is always a great combo, and I make one more with the leftover paint, and I love the look you get with the scraped up bits. It's definitely worth scraping up these bits because you get another background and it's less cleaning. Basically any idea that involves less cleaning is a great idea, I think. I wanted to try this technique with a palette knife. I didn't want it to feel left behind. And this works great too. It's very easy to twist and turn the palette knife, making it very simple to apply the paint all over the background. And there's still some left, which is great to add on another background, giving you this cool and different effect again. I also tried the media spatulas and they work a bit different as they are a bit harder to twist and turn, and this background is most definitely way messier than the previous ones. It's easier to get the fun thicker lines that add a lot of interest, and they need more drying time, not super long as the paint dries pretty fast, but it's just another option that I wanted to show you. Now this technique is not only easy, it's pretty fast also and will give you a pile in no time. So let's make some cards. For the first I ink the edges, which always gives a nice finish to me. Then I'm going to make some splats with the same ink, diluted with a bit of water by dipping in a brush and tapping it above the card. While that dries, I have the card with the paint from the card that was on top. On the side, and I like the color, so I just add some more. This way it looks like it was intended this way. Now I use my finger to add the paint. I clean my finger and then I'm going to add the second color. So I get a 2-color striped line along the edge. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry too. I colored a piece of card with the same colors and I'm going to die cut a butterfly. I colored the body of the butterfly black and then add another butterfly to the back in black. I cut that in half so I can let it peek out from under, and this will make the orange color pop big time. In case you missed it, I'm very excited about craft along sessions I'm working on, and while I figure out the details, the tech stuff and such, you can sign up to join the list and I'll keep you in the loop on all the details on how, what and when. The card with the 2-color paint border is dry and it's time to doodle a bit, so I add black lines along the paint colors. Just some freehand doodling, and then because the line is a bit thick I add another thin line on the inside, and also 2 lines always looks a little bit more finished to me than just one. And as a finishing touch, some glitter on the tips of the wings, a pretty bright color of course, and I use the tip of the bottle to spread the stickles a bit so they are about the same on both sides, and I think this makes a pretty happy card. My inked and splattered background is also dry and I have some black thread. I have some tape on both sides to the back so it stays in place. I just wind it around the card. Now make sure to keep it flat while you wind it so you can still add it flat on your card. And then I secure it on the back. I added it to a white note card and I have 2 glitter butterflies with a black one glued to the back also. And I layer them to get a different look and some extra dimension. I glue them on the card and I add an acrylic block to let it dry. And I finished the card with some drops. The super bright card with the lovely texture was added on a black card and then on a white note card. And I just add a black die cut sentiment. Simple. And then the busy background, you can tone that down a bit by using some vellum. I use a dark blue this time, which is a nice contrast but a bit softer than black, and I glue the sentiment on the vellum. Some glue to the back of the sentiment and then I add it to the card and I fold the edges of the vellum around the sides. And then I add the complete piece to a white note card. Now there you have it, alcohol-free cocktails and cards. If you need some more inspiration you can find some right here. Don't forget to sign up for the craft along sessions to get on the list. And as always, make sure to keep on crafting.